Welcome to Season 3, Episode 12 of The Man Who Woke Up the Buddha. This is the end of Season 3. In Season 4, Sid begins chemotherapy and comes up with a new money-making scheme, during which the Buddha struggles to give him a crash course in Buddhist business ethics. The episodes will begin in a few weeks. Stay tuned. This episode is called Keep on Truckin'. Previously, Sid woke up in the middle of the night in a fury and somehow made it into the garage before screaming out his rage at his cancer, his Buddhahood, and his historical flashbacks. The next day, Dr. J briefed him and Di on the results of his MRI. Christmas at Sid and Di's was deeply encrusted with traditions that nobody, even Zoe, remembered very well and seemed to change from year to year. This year, the plan was to have each grandchild fill a bag with identical small presents, one for each of their siblings and cousin. Since this was the Buddha's first Christmas, they, which is now Sid and Buddha's preferred pronoun, would also participate, as would Pāli. Everyone would give their bags to Di, who put each kid's name on a stocking, fill it with the same assortment, and then hang or hide the stockings in secret places throughout the house. But this year, there were two additional twists. At Sista's insistence, after the stockings were filled, the kids would take Sid's and hold a high-level conference during which they would each put a special present in for him. Then Willie raised a point of order. What about Islam? Excellent question, the Buddha thought. What about it? Junior said, wanting the holiday thing to be over with so he could watch the Celtics game. Well, it's the third monotheistic religion. Shouldn't we be celebrating it too? Willie explained. Casper had no idea what Willie was talking about. The only mono he had ever heard of was infectious mononucleosis. He hadn't realized religions could be infectious too. Don't worry, Casper. Religions aren't infectious, Sid said, reading his mind like an open book. Well, what do you call it? The Buddha wondered. Actually, Sid admitted, sometimes they're incurable. He shrugged and asked, what holiday do Muslims celebrate around the winter solstice? Everyone waited for Zoe to answer, but to their shock, she said, Gee, I don't know. After 10 seconds of stunned silence at this Christmas miracle, words began to tumble out of Sista's mouth. Well, Shabbat Yaldah is celebrated on the winter solstice, she said, nodding, as if she agreed with herself. People eat, drink, and read poetry until late at night. And they eat pomegranates and watermelons. It's all about light overcoming darkness. Of course, it's more of a cultural holiday than a religious one. Of course, Sid said, looking at her in amazement before calling upstairs. Di, do we have any watermelon? He then asked, is there a prayer or anything they do to celebrate? Just Shabbat, Yalda, Mubarak. That means Happy Yalda Night, Sista explained as if it were common knowledge. That was followed by another 10 seconds of stunned silence until Courtney blurted out, Sista, how in the world do you know that? I was just wondering that myself, she answered quizzically. Wait, Casper said. If all of them believed in one God, why are they always fighting each other? Another 10 seconds of stunned silence, sad more than stunned. I was just wondering that myself, Sid said. Me too, the Buddha thought. I've been wondering that for a long time. And so, after Di somehow materialized some watermelon in the middle of winter, and they said the Islamic prayer, they lit the Hanukkah candles, even though Hanukkah had ended a few days before. Then Sid said it was time to meditate. Junior sighed, now figuring he wouldn't make the game until the fourth quarter. Everyone closed their eyes and got really silent. Casper peeked, but just for a second. The Buddha decided that a couple of minutes of silence was plenty, since the grandkids were fast learners, and Sid was a hopeless case. So after 108 seconds, he said Om, just for old time's sake. Sid did a passable Om himself, and the kids chanted along with him for another 108 seconds. At that point, Sid said the meditation was over, which gave Junior hope he could catch the last 10 minutes. Then all the kids and Sid-Buddha went upstairs one by one and handed their gift bags to Diane, who examined them approvingly as she distributed them one by one into the stockings. Sid had given each one a 1/4 ounce gold coin, which they were supposed to put in their college funds. Casper had made little bowls in his after-school pottery class and filled them with M&Ms. Zoe gave Di a bag of tiny globes of the world, with an explanation of borders that were currently contested by disputes or all-out wars. Willie had made origami ninja stars. Junior had splurged on bumper stickers with the phrase, "Sid lives." Courtney had done a sketch of all the cousins together and made copies which she rolled up and tied with a wide ribbon that had a picture of Santa. Sista had found perfect skipping stones and written one of the kids' names on each. Di put in little bags of peanuts as a present from Pāli, and, since most of the presents weren't parrot-friendly, put several in a little stocking for him. As Junior turned on the TV to watch the Celtics win in overtime, another Christmas miracle, the other kids began laying mattresses and sleeping bags on the rec room floor and getting ready for bed, although several would whisper well into the night. In the midst of their preparations, Di called Sista from downstairs. "Sista!" Pāli cried enthusiastically when he saw her coming up the stairs. "Yes, Mrs. Sid?" Sista asked politely. "Sista," Di said, "these are very pretty stones, but once the kids skip them, they'll be gone forever." "Very zen," the Buddha thought approvingly. "Well, they're for a very special occasion when they want to make a special wish." "Ah, a blessing of good fortune," the Buddha thought. Di smiled and gave her a hug. "Okay, Sista, sleep well." "I already have visions of sugar plums," Sista said, looking up to the sky. She was being literal. Then Di walked quietly around the house, hanging stockings inside a closet, on a doorknob, showerhead, ceiling fan, and the handle of a stationary bike. Pāli's, of course, went in a fairly safe place at the back of his cage that would be hard for him to reach. She hung Sid's on a pull knob of her small 2-drawer filing cabinet because Sid wasn't allowed in her office. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house no creatures were stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings had been hung with nary a care, in hopes that Sid-Buddha soon would be there. The grown kids plus ones were in childhood beds, the grandchildren downstairs everywhere spread, and Di with her Ambien and Sid with the nightcap seemed to be sleeping or taking long winter naps. When deep in Sid's brain there arose such a clatter, he sprang from his bed to see what was the matter. Away from the bed he flew like a flash, determined to find his stocking at last. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below. Hoping no children would wake accidentally, he tiptoed on the floor and even past Pāli. He snuck into Di's office and turned on a light, and found what he was looking for, although not in plain sight. So what to his wandering eyes should appear? His name on a stocking with a balding reindeer. He knew in a moment he must open it quick before anyone caught on to his annual trick. It was heavy at bottom but light on the top. He'd have to dig deep to see what came up. But he stopped in his tracks and uttered a prayer when he saw missives and envelopes from those he held dear. From Courtney and Sista and Junior and Will, Zoe and Casper and pets he loved well. As he opened each one, it became increasingly clear he would sigh many a sigh and shed many a tear. Sid walked back into the living room with his stocking and sat down in his Barcalounger. He assumed the envelopes just had cards in them, so he decided to open one and then maybe reach in for one of the presents down below. "Dear Big Sid," Casper had scribbled on his card, "all I want for Christmas is for you to get better." There was also $8 inside. He decided to open just one more, then he'd go back to bed. "Dear Grandpa," Zoe had written with perfect penmanship, "some people with anaplastic ependymoma live as long as 15 to 20 years. I love you." There was $12 inside. Sid laughed and started to get up from his Barcalounger, but decided to open just one more. Why not? So far it had really paid off. Dear Grandpa Sid, Willie had printed in all caps. I think about you all the time, and how lucky I am to have you as a grandfather. Get better. There was $13 inside. He started to get a little weepy and decided to open just one more. Junior had scrawled, "You can beat this thing, Big Sid." There was $16 inside. The Buddha was beginning to get a little weepy himself. Okay, might as well open the rest, Sid decided. Definitely, the Buddha agreed. He was really enjoying his first Christmas. Courtney had written, Dear Grandpa Sid, you bring so much light and laughter into the world, and I love you so, so much. There was a $20 bill in there, even though she and sister were only 19. Keep the change, she'd written with a big smiley face. Tears began streaming down Sid's face, and the Buddha's. Sigh, the Buddha said to himself. Tears are so cleansing. Then Buddha picked up sister's envelope and carefully lifted the flap. Dear Sid-Buddha, she'd written simply on the card inside. I will carry you in my heart forever and ever. She had put 9 $2 bills and one $1 bill cut in half. I'll save the other half for next year, she wrote with her own big smiley face. By then, Sid's eyes were washed with tears, as were the Buddha's. Don't die, Pāli cried softly. Keep on truckin'. And that's the end of Season 3. Thanks for listening to The Man Who Woke Up the Buddha.